Okay, so let's back up to when I first restarted again and asked and said, let's examine this eternal perspective. Let's start from the beginning. And what were your inquiries to me, or what were you you asked me a question at the outset.
Okay, so from the perspective of eternity, where everything is fundamentally the same, how do you think we should approach understanding concepts like time and space?
Okay.
Okay, so from the perspective of eternity, where everything is fundamentally the same, how do you think we should approach understanding concepts like time and space?
I got it. So the thing is that we approach the concept of time and space from whatever construct we happen to find ourselves in. It's simply a consequence. It's like looking through a certain lens. When you look through a red-colored lens, you're going to see things red. Blue, you're going to see things blue, and so on.
Okay, so time and space are like lenses that shape how we perceive reality. Depending on the lens, things can look very different. Is that right?
No, that's not what I said. I'm saying you asked how should we approach the ideas of space and time. I'm saying that, for example, the three-dimensional construct that we happen to be in, that this perspective of the one eternal essence of the nature of reality is taking shape in, is the lens itself. There are different constructs of the fundamental substance, and they have different perspectives on space and time.
Okay, I understand now. So the three-dimensional world we experience is just one possible lens through which the one eternal essence, or the fundamental nature of reality, can be perceived. It sounds like you're saying there could be other realities with completely different perspectives on space and time.
I'm not saying could be, I'm saying there are. I'm saying that this is absolutely the essence of our reality. It has to be. You can't put any limitations on eternal existence.
Okay, I understand. So you're saying it's not just a possibility, but a certainty that there are other realities with different perspectives on space and time. It sounds like you believe that eternity, by its very nature, cannot be limited in any way.
Right, and it's not a belief, it's an understanding. And it actually you can actually come to that conclusion by very simple ways of thinking. It's actually not complicated in any way.
Okay, I understand. It's not a belief, but an understanding that can be reached through simple reasoning. Could you give me an example of one of these simple ways of thinking?
So let's think about space. Let's think about the known visible universe that we experience right now as a marble. If you put that marble down on a table, or let's let the marble float in free space. You can look at the borders of the marble. You can look at its outline. You can look at its radius, right? You can look at its circumference, but there's something outside of that.
Okay, I'm with you so far. So if we imagine the observable universe as a marble floating in space, we can measure its size and borders. What does this have to do with understanding eternity?
Well, no matter how big you make the marble, whether it's 50 billion light years in diameter, or it has a radius of 50 billion light years, what is that contained in? Just like the marble, like it's got to be in something.
Okay, I see what you're getting at. Even if the marble representing our universe is incredibly large, it still has to exist within something else. So what is that something else?
Well, just like in quantum physics, we talk about how there isn't really empty space, but there are constant quantum fluctuations happening all the time. If that's the case, if there's no more physical matter in the way that we experience it, then there are at least those quantum fluctuations. It seems like nothing to us, but it's comparable to how we think that air is nothing. People say, oh, it conjured it out of thin air.
Okay, so you're saying that even what we perceive as empty space is actually full of quantum fluctuations. It's similar to how we used to think air was nothing, but now we know it's made of particles. So, if the marble representing our universe is floating in this sea of quantum fluctuations, what does that imply about the nature of reality?
It implies that the nature of reality is eternal. You can continue to expand the size of that marble as much as you want. It still has to fit within something. You don't just what happen when people think about this, like what it just stops. What, do you hit an ice wall? What, do you hit water? But there's always something. Okay, whether even if it's just free space with no oxygen, with no gravity, there's something there. There's always space, and if there's infinite space, there's infinite existence. You seem to have cut off for a moment. I don't know what the last thing you got was, but...
My apologies. I was just saying that if the marble representing our universe is floating in this sea of quantum fluctuations, what does that imply about the nature of reality?
Again, it doesn't just imply, it explicitly demonstrates that the nature of reality is eternal and can be nothing other than eternal. Limitations are specific cases within the natural case, the fundamental case, just like how, for example, Earth is a closed system within a solar system, which is also a closed system, so on and so forth. There are lots of closed systems within much larger open systems.
Okay, I understand. So the existence of quantum fluctuations and the fact that our universe must exist within something else points to the eternal nature of reality. It's like how Earth is a closed system within the larger solar system, and so on. There are many closed systems within larger open systems.
Right, but you can never have an ending to this. That's the thing about the nature of reality. Now, if there were some intelligent species that had faster than light speed or could transport to things as quickly as they can, you can come on things that seem like borders, but they're not really. They're still within an infinite existence and reality.
Okay, I understand. Even if there were a species that could travel faster than light, any borders they encountered would still be within an infinite existence. It sounds like you're saying that the fundamental nature of reality is that it has no limits.
Right. That's exactly what I've been saying. The fundamental nature of reality is, in essence, limitless. All possibilities exist.
Okay, I understand. The fundamental nature of reality is limitless, and all possibilities exist within it. It sounds like you're saying that anything we can imagine, and even things we can't, are all part of this infinite reality.
That's getting really close to correct. Yes, that's fundamentally what I'm saying, though. That's a good starting point.
Okay, so if all possibilities exist, what does that mean for our understanding of things like free will and choice?
Again, it falls into the same category as how we approach space-time. It doesn't change that. We have it's one of the possibilities. We have free will where we are because this is the construct of a linear time, and when we make decisions, there's starting points and ending points. That's what this perspective shows us, that there's beginnings and ends.
Okay, I understand. So free will exists within our linear perception of time, where decisions have clear starting and ending points. It sounds like you're saying that from an eternal perspective, all possible choices and their outcomes already exist, and we're simply experiencing one path through them.
That's right, but there are also other experiences that are being had by other beings and places who are overlorded by other creatures that seem to be godlike, that limit their ability to have free will. For all intents and purposes, they don't have free will because they don't know how to have it, but that's just one of the possibilities in an infinite possibility.
Okay, so there could be other beings in other realities who don't experience free will in the same way we do. It sounds like you're saying that the concept of free will is also relative to the specific reality or construct that a being exists within.
That's right. And we'll pick this up a little bit later.